Well, thanks Ed and Charlotte, and thanks KTN for giving us this opportunity to share our experience of the Energy Catalyst and international partnerships with everybody. So we are a UK-based small company called Smart Villages Research Group Limited. What I'm going to do during this short presentation is take you through a little bit of what we do, but then also what our experience in general has been with the Energy Catalyst, and in particular what our experiences of international partnerships and how we try to manage those partnerships in our grants. So what we do as a company is that coming from 5 years of international research that we did, we've developed a more integrated development model, which says that energy access isn't an end in itself. The energy should be catalytic for obviously things like productive uses and setting up your local businesses, but then also community-based services as well. So to go further, so it's not just productive use, but productive services as well, so that the energy can do things like improving food security, giving a better education, better health and welfare in communities, and even things like improving the democratic engagement of communities. And that bottom-up, really community-based holistic approach to development and energy access at the same time, then the benefits that we see in that and that we're trying to encourage in that are that it's not driven by any particular funding silos or any particular technologies. It's more sustainable in the long term and gives greater long-term impact, as well as economic impact in communities themselves. And for communities, we believe that that leaves them being more resilient. It's more targeted on their individual needs and priorities. It's more cost effective in the long term, and because it's a community based and a community led approach, it's more empowering over those communities in the long term as well. And if we're interested in the SDGs, we say that doesn't just address goal 7, but it also addresses all of these other goals as well. There's only one goal in there that's not covered, so there's a small prize. No, there isn't a small prize for identifying the one that isn't in there. Anyway, so that's what we do, and that's what we're doing through the Energy Catalyst project, is refining some of the technologies and some of the business models, and determining some of the impacts that underlie that new model with partners. So we have 3 Energy Catalyst projects, one mid-stage round 6 project, which we're doing in Tanzania with a partner, a community, Maasai community organization there in the Simanjiro Plains, just south of Arusha. And we have 2 round 7 projects, one early stage and one mid-stage, which are in Uganda with a couple of partners there, and in Somaliland with a partner based there and one based in Malaysia. So for us, the big benefit of the Energy Catalyst is that it's a funding program which is aimed at small enterprises like ourselves, and it's really focused on the industrial R&D, which is great for us because it's just what we want. Unusually, it also funds and lets us work with a whole range of international and UK partners. So international partners are funded. Lets us work, though, as Charlotte and Ed were saying earlier on, with NGOs or partners from academia as well. So it's great in that it lets you go to exactly those people that you best need to make your innovation and your project work. The application process, as you'll have seen online, if you look at the documentation, is very clear. It's very easy to work through exactly what's needed, and it has very broad scope. It's not a narrow competition. It lets you do, a huge variety of things within the field of energy access. And almost the best thing is that there's very good feedback. You will learn as much from an application which fails, frankly, as one that succeeds, because the quality of the feedback, obviously we haven't succeeded in every single project that we've ever applied for, but the feedback from both the successful and the unsuccessful applications have let us improve our thinking of what to do in the future and how to better tailor our applications and tailor our approaches. And we have found Innovate to be a very good, a very responsive, and above all, a very interested funder. They're actually interested in what we're doing on the ground and how we're doing it, which is always a nice thing as an organization that's being funded in things like this. So our top tips for the Energy Catalyst The first one is, read the competition guidance, and especially the how to apply tab, because actually, if you follow everything on that tab, then that's the best way to put together an application. The other thing to do, if you happen to be a UK lead partner, is really appreciate that being the lead partner makes your job significantly more difficult, and it takes a lot of time. So don't forget to, to budget for all that project leadership. The amount of time that you will spend, not just doing your innovative work, but also managing the consortium is, I mean, it's fun, it's interesting to do, but it has to be planned for, and you have to make sure you've got the time and the money and the application to let you do that. The other very minor thing is make sure your bank is happy with your partners. Some banks are rather more risk averse than others, and in particular in our case, having a partner in Somaliland wasn't the thing that made our bank the happiest organization on the planet. So that it's a minor thing, but it is something to think about, because if your bank suddenly cuts you off and says you have to change your bank account, that's not very helpful. Prepare for your cash flow needs. It's a bit obvious. And also the tip that I would have is don't plan to start your project immediately the results that come out, because especially following the amount of COVID responsive funding that Innovate UK has been doing at the moment, it's taking them quite a long time to catch up on all the other applications. So the likelihood is that the due diligence phase, after we all find out the results of this round, will take quite a bit of time. So just plan that in. Don't expect to start immediately, and plan in your business that you will start immediately, because it may take a little bit longer than that. But how have we found the Energy Catalyst in general? Well, there's only one word for it, really, tremendous. We have freedom to just get on with the projects. We found all of our monitoring officers to be very responsive and very helpful. Innovate UK has been fantastically proactive during COVID. They've really appreciated that the business and the travel impacts of COVID have really impacted not only international partnerships like ours, but also small businesses. And they've done a lot of things in the grants and outside of the grants to try and help us through that. The Energy Catalyst number 7, round 7, has an accelerator which really helps organizations who have grants, both the international partners and the UK partners, it gives them extra support to be able to realize, carry out the projects that they're trying to carry out, but also then to help us in our subsequent exploitation phases. And I believe, I hope that Catalyst round 8 will be no different, and that will be accelerator support for that as well, even though it's probably not quite confirmed yet. And just picking up really on what Ed was saying there, the Catalyst is kind of a unique opportunity to be able to innovate, carry out your R&D, but also to develop a working relationship with new partners and deliver impact on the ground all at the same time. And that's quite remarkable, because a lot of funding competitions let you do one of those things, but for a competition to let you do all 4 of those at the same time is really quite fantastic. Do make sure you understand and plan for the reporting processes, and also work out what all of your partners' support needs are, especially through those reporting processes. So how have we found our partners? We always work on with local partners in doing these projects. And how to find them? There's no simple solution. You can Google them, look on the internet. Obviously, there's not a lot of attending conferences at the moment, but attend virtual conferences, webinars, and look for archives from previous conferences and webinars. Go to networks and information sources like the LCEDN. We ourselves, from our research phase, have a lot of resources on our website. Organizations like Energy for Impact, SE for All. There is a fantastic amount of information in reports or in reviews or in research available on the internet. Just look at those online resources, and then don't be afraid, having looked at that, to just go and ask that organization, saying, okay, we've seen this, we've looked at that, can you recommend somebody in country X that does this? Or ask one of your existing contacts to recommend somebody. But there's a flip side to that as well, and this is both for UK organizations and international ones. Remember to make yourselves accessible as well. I can't tell you the number of interesting websites I've come across from NGOs or companies that look like they're doing something interesting, but they seem to have gone out of their way to make it difficult to get in contact with them. and it's there have been many organizations that we would have loved to work with ourselves, but it's just been almost impossible for us to manage to successfully get in touch with them. So do try and make that easy, because other organizations are looking for you at the same time as you're looking for other organizations. In terms of our partnerships, and this is partnerships across all the projects we do, not just the Catalyst ones, 3 of our partners we've known for a long time and worked with them. 2 of them we met at the Asian Development Bank's ASEF conference in Manila, which is a great networking opportunity. One of them we found on the internet by Googling, because we were after somebody that knew something about a specific technology. 2 organizations found us through our own website and just contacted us out of the blue, saying they were interested in doing something, and it was exactly the organizations that we were trying to find at the time. 1 organization was brought on board by another one of our partners, and 2 of them neatly, and we didn't coordinate this with Ed's presentation, but 2 of them were introduced to us by the LCEDN. And all of those channels are really useful to use for recruitment as well. So half of our leadership team came to us through workshops we've attended and from LCEDN contacts as well, which is always good to hear. And this is that proportion of our leadership team and one of our local partners, just to make a case in point. And how we work with partners, I think it's really important to be very clear, very open, and communicate often, just as Ed was saying there. And try to establish what everybody's needs and expectations are. Some of our partners are super sophisticated businesses that kind of school us on a daily basis on really quite advanced technological things. Others, tiny NGOs and startups that have needed a lot of support, but all of them add value, especially as Ed said, just in terms of being able to do that local linkage and knowing exactly what the situation is on the ground. Decide for yourself how far you're willing to go. So some of our partners couldn't work on the Catalyst with us unless we helped them with their cash flow. But because we think they're interesting partners and we needed them, then we prepared to be able to do that. But ask yourself what your capacity is to do things like that. Discuss all the Catalyst rules and processes very, very openly. Don't be afraid to question and clarify that at the application stage. Make sure everybody in your consortium is aware about the advanced funding requirements, about the 30% self-funding requirements. Make sure that people have got access to transport. We ourselves made mistakes in that in early applications, and that resulted in our partner saying, "Well, hang on, we haven't got funding for this." But by that stage, it's too late. So really try and do as much of that as early as possible. And then when you're actually working together, make sure there's clear expectations on everybody, including yourself, for what deliverables are going to produce when and what the timescales are. And that's especially on you as a project lead to be able to make sure that everybody agrees on those. And also what we say to all of our partners is we're all partners together. So a lot of international organizations, especially the NGOs, are used to, when they're working with an international organization, an international partner, they're sort of reporting to them. But we keep making the point that we're all partners in these grants and we're all reporting together to Innovate, and that's a slightly unfamiliar working arrangement for some of our partners. So it's important to clarify that. So it's a kind of a level playing field between all of us. But as Ed and Charlotte have said, if you get it right, you'll make friends and business partners for life. So it's a great opportunity to be able to do just that. Thank you very much, and good luck.